Hey, what's up, Joe Joe in the Morning family? I hope you are having an absolute amazing day. I have something so good to talk to you about today that you're probably not going to like, but it's going to help you, okay? It is going to help you. So, buckle up, get ready. Y'all know I love you. I'm going to give you some good stuff that's going to help you. I'm going to get one more drink of coffee, then let's get rolling. All right. So, I want to let you know how much God loves you. God loves you so much, and God loves the mandate that is on your life. And God also loves all of the prophetic words that have been spoken over your life. And also, God loves all of your dreams, visions, goals, aspirations. He loves them all. God also loves you so much, He can't let some of those folks stay around you forever. Now, I know, that's your BFF. That's the one you thought was your ride or die. That was the one. Listen, some people are in your life for a reason, some a season, and some for a lifetime. I love all of our family that, watch on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and they send me messages and they're like, man, there was this person, they were part of our ministry for 5 years. There's this co-worker I had, we was prayer partners. We were in there. They sold me out. Listen, I'm going to say something that I learned. I don't like saying this, but I've learned it and it's true. When people hurt you and reject you and do you wrong, they're actually helping you in a way, because they are letting you know they're not covenant and they are not your next level friends, okay? And so it's like, I call them scaffolding. You need scaffolding in a building. But when you get the inside of a building built and you got it painted, you got the sheetrock and it's been taped and mudded and all this and it looks good and it's been painted, then you start bringing in the furniture. Some people are scaffolding, some are furniture type people. They're the people that are going to be a part of your life for a long time. And I was walking this through with somebody that's really dear to my wife and I, and they were like, man, there was this one person I was helping, we got along so good. I was helping them, man. I helped them get a job. I helped them. They needed some money. I helped them. They wanted to go on some trips that, do some things, and then I was going on, so I let them go with us. They couldn't really afford it. We kind of helped them, and just, a real friend of this person. And then over something silly, they just did this person wrong and said some wretched things, and then came back and wanted to act like everything was good. Heard a guy say one time, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Also, I heard a guy say one time that if you bite the hand that feeds you, don't be mad when you come back to the table and your place at the table's been removed. Do you know why so many pastors have quit ministry? Because toxic people with wounds and offenses come in, and then they love them with all their heart and they don't love them back. Well, after a while, you just get hurt, beat up, and used, okay? So you have to understand, if you're in business, you will raise somebody up. You see them being one of your executives one day, they'll leave you in a second for somebody else. It happens. It happens all the time. I can't tell you, our church isn't very old, but how many times we've built up teams and then, 4 or 5 families leave at a time. Listen, it's okay. Maybe they're going to go and serve in another church, that they're going to be a huge blessing over there. Every time they do, God brings new people in. Different season. I remember a guy said one time in the car business, he's a friend of mine, he said, man, we have never had a sales team so good. I've got every office filled with a really good salesman. We all get along. I'm thinking, oh, it's about to change. 3 months later, he's like, man, almost every one of them left. I said, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I promise you, your doors are still going to open tomorrow. And so, when people leave you, when they leave your ministry, your business, it's okay. I'm sure you've left somebody. I'm meddling now. I remember one time I was so excited about a new opportunity. I was working at a church and I told my pastor that I was leaving. He said, oh, okay. I said, what? He said, well, I just kind of thought you were going to be here. I just kind of saw you as you got older, just kind of growing and maybe even one day taking the church. I went, no. And so, you've left. I've left. I remember leaving jobs when I was younger. People would be like, well, why are you leaving, man? You're such a good help. You bring so much value. We compensate you well. I said, yeah, but it's a new season. Problem is in life, most people don't know how to leave properly. Most people don't know how to release people properly. Last couple that left our church, my wife and I love them, very gifted. They were like, hey, Apostle, it's time we leave. I said, okay. They came in my office. I gave them $100 bill and I prayed over them. They were looking at me. They said, we've never heard anybody do this. And I said, hey, when y'all came into our church, I felt the Lord say they're going to be with you for a few years, but they're not going to be with you forever. They're going to bless the church with their gifts, with their finances, and with their family. Great family. But they won't be with you but for just a few years. I said I knew that coming in. But I loved y'all hard while y'all were here. Now the $100 is to bless you as you go out. And whenever you find the next church, you have them call me, and I will tell them, y'all are phenomenal. Great family. Tithers and offering and work altars and help. And they were like, we never heard anybody do this when somebody leaves, because I'm building God's kingdom. Now I'm going to say something that 99% of y'all are not going to agree with. You're not going to agree with me, and I don't even care. I do, but I don't. What if, think about this, in the Bible, how many times does it say, First Baptist Church of so-and-so city and state? The church of Corinth, the church of Ephesus, the church of, and they name the church of the city. What if the church of the city is like the kingdom? I remember one time we had a lot of worship leaders. We don't currently right now, but we had a lot of worship leaders. And a buddy of mine called and said, hey, man, he's about 45 minutes away from here. He said, man, I just kind of caught myself in a weird spot that I have a worship leader. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll send you one. How long do you need them for? He said, 90 days. I said, okay, I'll send you somebody. So we filled their worship for 90 days. Well, who does that? Kingdom people. Because when people would go out, they would, bless this church, bless my friend, and they would receive a financial honorarium for doing worship in the travel. So a lot of times people think that everybody's supposed to come into your ministry. Well, in a town, there's not one church. There's a lot of churches. But in the Bible, it talks about the church of the city. We get so caught up in our church that we think nobody's supposed to leave. I remember one time, this couple came into our church. I told my wife, I said, oh, yeah, they're good people. They'll be here for 3 years. She said, what? I said, they'll be here for 3 years. I didn't even pay attention to what I said. They literally almost left 3 years to the day. I just kind of knew. Some people come in and you're glad they're here, but they won't be here long. They're here for a reason. You got to be mature enough to know that when you start a business, that you come in. I've had businesses that I started up and people came in and were just blown away with how good they did in business, and it was a huge financial blessing to them, and then they quit one day. You're like, okay. Okay. I remember the other day, there's some people that I love on YouTube, and I'm thinking, like, where'd y'all go? Man, y'all were such a powerful voice. And they're like, we just kind of quit doing it. People come and people go. Let me ask you this. When you was in kindergarten, everybody had a best friend in kindergarten. Was that your best friend in junior high? Was that your best friend in high school? Is that your best friend when you're 25, 30, 40, 50, 60? No. People come and people go. People in your life for different reasons. When people go, thank God for the time that you knew them. But thank God for what's next. Yep. And so a lot of times, I had someone call. They were talking to me. I was ministering to them, and they were like, I just had somebody that was, man, I thought they were in our ministry. They did. They told me what all they did, and I said, man, they sound awesome. They said, yeah, and they left. And I said, a lot of times people will leave, find out what they missed, and they'll come back. But then they may not. You got to release them. Like I said, when new people come to our church and I hug them like this. I don't hug them like this. They're not my people. They're God's people. I had a pastor call me one time. He said, Apostle Dawson. I thought, oh, Lord, I got a King James version speaking King James. I heard some of my sheep came over to one of your revival meetings. And I said, no, I ain't seen no sheep. I think some people in your church came over. I'm kind of messing with them. Well, I don't approve of my sheep sitting under the influence of another person's ministry. And I said, hey, man, sorry. I'll open the doors, and whoever wants to come in, they're welcome here. And I said, we never mentioned our church. We were having an event at another venue. And I said, we never mentioned our church, nothing. And he just couldn't get past that. Like, I remember one time, some of the ladies in our church, one of their favorite ministers, she was coming into town. And I announced from the pulpit, I said, hey, if any of y'all want to go over to this church, I don't mind next Sunday. People looked at me funny and said, nobody ever says that. I said, listen, when people feel like you're trying to control them, that's when they'll leave. But if you are a good enough friend and a good enough boss and a good enough minister to them, it'll be hard for them to leave. But if they do, it may have been your fault. It may have been their fault. It may be in the end of their season. Don't waste your time trying to figure it out. God is in control. Sometimes man's rejection is God's protection. I had somebody very dear to my wife and I, they left our ministry one time. My wife was like, why did they leave? I said, time will tell. Well, found out a few months later when they left, they were relapsing on something. And I told my wife, I said, wow, they have so much honor and respect for us that when they left because they were relapsing and they didn't want to do it in our church. She said, Joe, they talked horrible about us. And I said, I know, but at least they honored us. She said, great perspective. And then she's like, let's speak blessing over them. So we start praying blessing over them. See, when somebody does you wrong, that's an action against you. But if you choose to speak life and blessing over them, you won't harbor anything. If you got on a beautiful white shirt and someone throws mud on your white shirt, you can take your white shirt off and put on another shirt. You don't have to wear it around. Man's rejection can be God's protection. When people leave you, sometimes you should thank the Lord. I was helping these young ministers out one day, and And I said, hey, can I say one thing? Listen to me. I don't make my living in the church. So I view church a little different, okay? People that do it for a living, their income comes from their church. They view it differently than somebody that does it as a ministry. Okay? That was a mic drop moment if you didn't know it. Okay? Different thinkers. I was at a conference one time with some older generals in the faith, and they were talking. And I leaned up and I said, hey, any of y'all millionaires? No. Any of y'all got at least $100,000 in stocks, bonds, properties, savings? They're like, no. I said, I can tell. Y'all minister like it. I know some ministers that are millionaires and they minister free because they don't care. Sometimes people are mad when people leave because money is tied to them. If you view people as people and not what they can do for you or what their gifting is, you love them for them, you'll have great relationships. Okay? When people leave you, you don't know why they left you, and it's not your job to figure it out. Give it to God. Give it to God. Walk away from it. And somebody could do you 18 kinds of wrong in your business or ministry. Do not put your mouth on them. Don't speak negative against them. Bless them, because you don't know. There may be something that God saw that you didn't see, and He's protecting you. Maybe, just maybe, if someone leaves Roar Church, Texarkana, I'll use our church. If they leave Roar Church, Texarkana, they may prosper at another church more. And if I say I really love them, and they prosper in another church, shouldn't I be happy for them? I saw someone a while back, and they saw me. They kind of ducked me. I said, hey, what's up? And I gave them a big old hug. They looked at me. I said, hey, how's it going at your new church? They said, well, we kind of found our place over there. We like it. I said, great. I absolutely love your pastor. They're like, thank you. I'm like, yeah. They said, you're not mad because we left? I'm like, no. Tell me something good you got from our church. And they said, oh my goodness, you taught us da-da-da-da-da. I said, great, tell me something else. They said, we learned this, da-da-da-da. I said, tell me one more thing. They said, we learned this, and this at y'all's church. I said, what else? That's kind of what we learned. I said, good. It was your season to leave. I'm so glad you're prospering in your next endeavor in life. They were like, that's a cool way to look. I learned this the hard way. Look, I'm 49 years young. I'm not going to live my life mad at people. And I'm sure not going to live my life mad at me. Because I don't know about you, but I've made a lot of bad decisions, wrong decisions. I've done people wrong. You know what? I've called so many people and asked them to forgive me because I want to be free and clean in my spirit. Okay? I know it hurts when people leave. It still hurts. But choose to forgive and get out of that hurt quick because, my dear friends, we've all hurt people unaware. Okay? Hope this helped. You know I love you. You need prayer, go to the website, joejoedawson.net, and go to the place for prayer. Send me prayer requests. I'd love to pray for you. Love y'all.